What's up, you guys? So, week 3 of my 10K funding challenge is a wrap, and if I would be 100% honest, it was a rough one. For the first time, the challenge calendar looks pretty red, and being transparent means showing you the losses just as clearly as I will show you the wins. So, let's look at why we took the step back this week, and also how I am planning to recover. So overall, coming into this week, I did come into this week with not so good record from last week, but it wasn't that bad because I only lost $1. But overall this week, as you can see, the progress has dropped from 13% to 1%. And my current balance right now sits at $10,010. So pretty much I have given all my gains for the last 2 weeks. Now we're back at break even. But I think for me, the most important thing is that the account is still on break even. I'm not on any type of drawdowns. I am in drawdowns in a sense that I've lost my profit, but in a sense of an account balance, we're still on the green, and that is something important. So let's go to TradingView and actually check the 3 trades that I took this week and see what exactly happened. So starting on the trade that I took on Monday during London session, as you can see, I saw this small imbalance over here that price kind of like rejected at the opening of the 3 a.m. New York time. And then we had this continuation of candles to the downside that caused this break of structure and also left this minor imbalance over there that validated this order block. And that is the reason why, for me, I thought that price will come here, find resistance, and continue to push to the downside. Hence the reason why I chose to take sells. But yeah, that did not happen. Instead, this was just a fake out. Market came all the way down, and then reverse started to push all the way to the upside. And I think looking at all the rest of the trades that I've been taking this week, even last week, I've never traded my strategy based on the conditions that we're trading in right now with the war that is going on between Iran, USA, and Israel. And I didn't think that the price would react a lot, but as you can see, even if we do zoom out, this chart over here, this is a 15-minute chart. You're seeing all this move to the downside. I am seeing an increase in volatility overall in the pair, and also there have been a news-driven spikes that sometimes they suddenly happen and they don't pay to any technical respect, as you can assume. But also I have noticed, especially with my strategy and the way that I'm trading, there has been a lot of fake outs. Especially, I'm going to show you on the trade that I took actually on Thursday. I am seeing a lot of fake out. So fake out also have increased a lot. And simply my setups, the way that I'm trading with my strategy currently, I'm struggling for my setups to hold. Most of my setups don't hold or don't form 100%. And overall, that has become a little bit of an issue overall. So yeah, I'm still going to be trading. I'm still going to make sure that I'm following my strategy exactly, because also I'm taking this as a lesson to learn how does my strategy perform in conditions such as this. Because if I'm going to be trading this strategy in a long period of time, this exact situation may not occur, but a different scenario may occur that has the same basis, i.e. war with different countries here and there. I'm not praying for that. I'm not hoping for that, but I'm saying if such thing occurs, I will already have data on how my strategy tends to perform in such situation. And I think that's also a point of growth for me as a trader moving forward. So yeah, I will take all those things under consideration and as lessons. But overall, coming towards the New York session, unfortunately, this was a valid trade over here, but I didn't take the trade because I think, again, my mind is worried and concerned when it comes to taking up my setup, because I don't trust my strategy right now. With the way things are going, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm supposed to trust my strategy. I'm supposed to just execute. It's supposed to be process over emotions, but I have to admit that with the uncertainty events that are continuing almost daily nowadays, it's very hard for me to just blindly trust. I'm working on it, but yeah, it's not happening. So this would have been a second trade on Monday, and I think I would have closed it here, of which that means I would have at least recovered 0.5, of which was this loss down here, but I didn't take this trade. So this was a missed trade on my end. Tuesday, again, the same setup right here occurred right here again during New York session. But like I said earlier again, I am struggling to take trades after losses. This is actually something that I need to improve upon and I need to work on. But nonetheless, this was another trade that I should have taken, but I did not take the trade. So with this trade, again, I think, yeah, I would have closed it right here, actually. Yeah, here. Yeah, I would have closed it over there. Again, this would have been another 0.5 trade. So with just these 3 trades, I would have recovered this loss by that trade, and I would have been up by 0.5, but I didn't take the trade. Now, coming on Wednesday, I saw this setup. It was, again, a valid setup in a way that I trade, but as you can see, I wasn't triggered into the trade, and the market moved without me. So yeah, that was another missed opportunity. But if I would have gotten again this trade, this would have been a 1.5 trade with that 0.5 trade on Tuesday. That means this would have been 2% already, but it didn't happen. Now coming on Thursday, I took 2 losses. The first loss came here. As you can see, I was actually following the chart. We already had taken off these previous day lows, of which again it's kind of like a sweep for me, and then we started changing direction and moving to the upside by that market structure shift. And then after breaking up, we did have this retracement, and then we broke up again, causing this new break of structure. This here is a setup to take a buy from this order block for me. This is how the trade should have looked like in normal conditions, right? I should have taken that trade. But the reason why I didn't take that trade is because, as you can see, at 8:30 we had US news unemployment claims, and then after that we had at 9:15 we had Euro monetary policy statement, and then you had also Europe ECB press conference. All these are red folder news events, and they also have restrictions. Now, I do understand that with FundingPips, especially on a challenging phase, they will not disqualify you from trading the red folder news, but I want to create an environment similar to how I'll be trading once I get funded. Therefore, if when I'm funded, I won't be able to trade around these times, then right now I shouldn't be trading close to these times. So that's the reason why I couldn't take my trade off of that order block over there. So instead I waited, and after 9:45 we had this imbalance over there and this order block, of which I indeed took the trade. Once I took that trade, as you can see, price did push to the upside, forming a new higher high, but then price retraced down below this new high low. Now for me, this is a market structure shift. Once you form a new higher high and you've broken that to the downside, that for me is a new market structure shift. Therefore, I need to be out of that trade. So this is why this trade was a loss for me, because I was stopped out right there. Yeah, it was a minor loss of, I think, around $7, and that is the reason why I lost trade number one, even though, as you can see, this would have technically be a winning trade, but rules are rules for me, and that's the reason why I didn't take that trade. Now, going to the second loss that I actually took on this day. Let me find it. Oh. Yeah. So going on a second loss that I took this day, like I said earlier, for me, this is a sweep of liquidity, and this here is a market structure shift. So any pattern that is an entry, it's essentially an exit. Where if I see something that shows signs of being an entry and I am in a trade, that means I need to get out of that trade. And that is exactly what I did here. So I got out here, and then I placed my buy limit on that order block, thinking that price will continue to push to the downside. But like I told you earlier, there has been a lot of fake outs nowadays. But so that means this was just another fake out. I got faked out of the first trade, and price continued to move to the upside. So that was a second loss of the week, and I believe this was a loss of $30-something. And yeah, there was nothing on Friday for me. So yeah, that's how I performed this week overall. I'm still trying to learn and trying to understand and keep tabs essentially of how this strategy is performing on such conditions, so that next time, at least when something similar happens, I know exactly what to do. So yeah, overall, those were my 3 trades. Those were my 3 losses. And yeah, let's see. So now, in the way that I'm seeing things, I think the overall effects of the war are not in direction, but rather it's on the volatility of the pair, the liquidity, and also the overall behavior. And that's why I think I'm seeing an increase in fake outs, which means even the clean setups that you might find, they will tend to fail. The market becomes harder to predict. It does not mean that the market is ranging. The volatility clearly is there. Like if we go on a daily time frame, if we go on a daily time frame, you can see that clearly there has been this market has been on a trend. This is a clear trend to the downside. You're seeing these huge candles day after day, almost week after week. So volatility is not the question. The currency is moving. But the problem for me and the way that I'm trading, the setups that I'm taking, I'm getting faked out a lot. And that means the behavior of the market is not the way that it was prior to the war. And these are the things as a trader I think we need to keep in mind. The market is always evolving depending on the current situation that the world is in. And our job is to not just be arrogant and ignorant of what is going on, but is to actually see what is happening and try to understand how whatever is happening in the world will impact our performance. And I think that is the reason why it is very important to keep a personal journal where you're journaling down all your trades, having a screenshots of how your trades are performing before and after, and give yourself time to look, observe, and note specific things that are occurring and why they are occurring at that particular time. So the bigger lesson that I'm taking this week essentially is that I'm with these two trades, I still need to work on my discipline when it comes to execution. Yes, I have executed 3 times this week and 3 times I have lost the trade, but I was supposed to have taken 5 trades, not counting this one, of which the market just failed to reach my entry point. I was supposed to take 5 trades, including these 2 trades. These 2 trades would have given me a clean 1%. So therefore, overall, I may have been on a positive this week, but I am not because of lack of discipline. Trade entries were provided, but I just simply didn't take them. So my lesson again is I need to work on my discipline, making sure that I focus on my execution. If the setup is there, I simply need to execute. And also, that is how I will learn how this strategy actually perform in this situation. So yeah, I think that's the end for this week, and I will talk to you guys next week. I'll just like to thank you all for following this journey, and whether next week will be a comeback week for me or another setback, we will see, because I will be right here to let you guys know how things are going. And I wish you all good trading week, and remember, process over emotions. Take care.